Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case, we've got 2 of them.
I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition.
She made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Your adult daughter. The next generation of Americans are using it. And that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
You're just
the easy answer.
Uh-oh, things getting a little heated last night in Miami. Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy once again trading sharp jabs as they make their case to Republican voters, Ainsley.
Yeah, Rachel is live with Vivek in Miami alongside his wife. She's a doctor, Dr. Apoorva Ramaswamy. Good morning to both.
Rachel's wearing 4-inch heels.
Yes, she is.
I am wearing 4-inch heels. That's right. So I'm here with Apoorva and Vivek. You guys probably couldn't hear it because they were playing it here on the TV. They just played the clip about the 3-inch heels and that exchange you had. There's, people are talking about it's funny, but the truth is that this is a really important topic to you. The idea of war, peace, and the wars that we've been in the last, decades or so.
I think it's time for a generational change in the Republican Party. George Bush and Dick Cheney did lead us into wars for 20 years, racked up $7 trillion in national debt in Iraq and Afghanistan. Thousands of people my age went to die in those wars that did not advance the American interest. So, yes, I'm keen to make sure we don't make those same mistakes again. Keep us out of World War III. Declare independence from China. Use our military to protect our own homeland instead of somebody else's borders halfway around the world. That's a generational divide in the Republican Party, and I believe I'm the only person on that stage last night who was representing that view.
And that was what I noticed there, was you were the only one with that non-neocon view. When you're on the trail, what are people telling you? And are you seeing it that it's like there's like a certain age group that is in support of you, and then the other side isn't?
Well, I think
you say it's generational.
I think there is a particular support amongst young people, millennials, who have been on the receiving end of a lot of lies they've been told, from college education all the way to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. But I think all Americans are united right now in wanting to stay out of World War III. We're as close to World War III as we have ever been in my lifetime. The Russia-China alliance is stronger than it's ever been. And if we enter World War III or sleepwalk our way into it now, that's danger right here for Americans in our homeland. So we can't lull ourselves into submission. And I do think that entering wars in places like Ukraine that have not advanced the American interest increase the risk of that. One thing I noticed last night, Rachel, is that even if you rewind the clock to just 2 months ago on the debate stage, let alone in the first part of this race, all of the Ukraine hawks were very strong on that issue. Now they're tiptoeing back.
They're like, wrap it up.
Yeah, exactly. Versus, in the first few months of the campaign, I was alone in this campaign and calling out a lot of those hypocrisies and failures. I think that view has aged well with time, and I think people should learn from foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I think it's going to take a different generation to lead this nation forward.
Why this change? Really quick, because I want to get to the other question, but is it that, the finances and the way we're funding it and the corruption that we're seeing in Ukraine, is that why it's changing? Or is it just the fact that there's another war on the horizon in the Middle East?
I don't think it's just that. I think it's the fact that Ukraine has not met the objectives that they told the United States they were going to meet. We've seen corruption and a total lack of accountability of how our own taxpayer money has been spent so some mid-level Ukrainian kleptocrat can buy a bigger house.
Yeah.
That's wrong. And the persecution of Christians, the fact that this is not a democratic nation, this myth that this is good versus evil is now coming to light. There's not that much of a difference in the way that Zelensky behaves on a given day versus other anti-democratic leaders around the world. That's now come to light in a clearer manner, and I do think that many of the people who were supporting it, you saw on the debate stage, quietly tiptoeing back their position.
It was interesting to watch. I want to get some questions. I hope we have some time after those questions to also talk about the Ohio vote.
Yes.
But let's get first to, yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, Vivek. Good morning.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Catalina. I am Moms for Liberty. And last night, education wasn't a topic in the conversation. What do you think about education? What are your inputs on that? And why?
Great question. And Catalina, this is the question for our future, for our next generation. We're a parent of 2 sons, parents of 2 sons ourselves. The Department of Education is the head of the snake. $80 billion of our taxpayer money go into that federal agency. Here's my answer. Shut that down and give the $80 billion back to parents and to the people. So every parent gets to choose where they send their kids to school. And the teachers' unions at the local level are a major problem. Public schools should be able to compete with private schools. Get rid of those teachers' unions. And I say that if you're moving to a school that spends less money, the kids should be able to take the money with them and graduate with a six-figure graduation gift.
You know, Vivek, one of the things somebody told me here in the diner was that your answers are so perfect, it makes them nervous. Why is that?
Look, I appreciate that you should be skeptical of any politician. I've only been one for about 7 months, but I too am skeptical of politicians. But one of the things to look at is what sacrifices has somebody made to advance their convictions. I mean, the first time you and I met, it was actually after I wrote my book, Woke Inc., at a time when very few CEOs, almost no other CEO of a major company, was willing to call out the hypocrisy of BLM. Even other Republican candidates on that stage were tweeting in support of George Floyd at a time where I said this is a toxic movement of BLM. No American CEO was willing to do it. I had to step down from my job as a biotech CEO to speak my convictions, taking on BlackRock and otherwise. So I would just say, look at the sacrifices someone has made. The positions I'm taking are not popular with much of the Republican establishment and donor class. So if you want to trust somebody, look at what sacrifices they actually make to advance their conviction and then make your own judgment.
So I've been a political spouse before, and it's really an interesting position to be in. You know, some people have said that Vivek has made some missteps, maybe a little too aggressive. What kind of advice do you give Vivek?
Oh, I give him the advice that I've been giving him since the beginning, and honestly, it's not what he needs. It's fight for our principles. We are not politicians. We are people who have been living amazing, blessed lives in this country, and we have been so frustrated by what politicians have been doing in D.C. for decades, the entire time I've been alive, and we are ready for change. And I think what he did last night was exactly what so many Americans were ready to hear and what the establishment needed to hear, and I'm really, really proud of him.
That's great. I want to get one more question in. Martha's been wanting to ask you something here.
Yes, I want to know your position on immigration.
Yes. Illegal immigration has to end. Illegal migration. Use our military to secure our own southern border rather than somebody else's around the world. End the incentives to come here illegally. Federal funding for sanctuary cities. Not a dime of our taxpayer money should go to that purpose. That's the best border policy of all. But I say this, both Apoorva and I are the kids of legal immigrants to this country. And I think that that, too, has a proper place in reviving our country. De-bureaucratize a lot of the H-1B system that's broken. Why a lottery system when you can use merit instead?
Vivek, how worried are you about the illegals that have come over the border and the increase, the heightened increase in terrorism? I mean, right at this very moment, you're talking about World War III, we're talking about Hamas. How worried are you about that?
I'm very worried about it. We had 70,000 special interest aliens from Middle Eastern countries last year alone. The day I visited the southern border recently, the day before, there was 2 men from Lebanon crossing that southern border. That's not a good sign. So if that can happen in Israel, I want Americans at home to understand this. If that can happen on October 7th in Israel, that could happen right here at home. And it is a shame we have a foreign policy establishment, frankly, Rachel, in both parties that are so worried about sticking their nose and waddling into conflicts on the other side of the world that they have left our American homeland as exposed as we have ever been. That will change on my watch, and that takes a leader who understands that we have to set our priorities. My moral obligation as the U.S. president is to the people who live right here in our own homeland, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Protect the homeland. That's my top priority.
Okay, let's talk about abortion, because that was a big issue in the Ohio election. Ohio's a state you know very well, obviously. What's the right way for Republicans to talk about this issue?
So I was born, raised, and I live in Ohio, and I voted no on that proposal. I am disgusted that now Ohio passed in a constitutional amendment something that allows really effectively abortion up to the time of birth without parental consent. Here's the Republican failure. There was no alternative proposal on that ballot. So the left got to define the issue as either yes or no on their proposal. We have to offer a vision of our own. So I'm injecting ideas here that more Republicans, including men, should be embracing. More sexual responsibility for men. Put greater burden on men.
Amen to that.
More burden on men legally into the state laws if you're genetically confirmed via paternity test to be the father. That's an easy win to say we're all in this together. It's not men versus women. It's not men's rights or women's rights. It's about human rights. So we have to reclaim the appropriate moral high ground on this issue. As I say, walk the walk when it actually comes to being pro-life. From contraception to adoption to childcare to, yes, greater responsibility and liability for men. That's how we win on this issue. And I know my home state of Ohio. I was born, raised, and live there. We live there now. If there was an alternative, reasonable proposal on the ballot, we would have won. That's a failure of our pro-life and our pro-conservative movement. It's going to take an outsider and a different generation to fix this because I'm sick of losing on this issue and countless others. That's why I'm in this, and it's going to take an outsider to do it.
It's a great answer. We're going to have to wrap it up. Also, would have been nice to see them point out the radicalism of the other side all the way up to 9 months. But great conversation, right, everybody?
Thank you.
All right. Back to you guys. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.